Hey, how's it going, Tony?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Good, 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 good. As you might see, it's you and I bringing ourselves to the table here. We do have a missing element. Dr. Gene he's going to take a little break, so it's all good. We're going to be here and talk about this today. So we're talking about the topic today is what is the difference between a certificate and a certification? Okay, and you've probably in your career you've probably talked to people who've earned certificate programs, gone through those, and earned a certification. So, what are the kind of things that you've had or seen people sort of mix that up and going, oh, well, yeah, I did this course and I got a certification. Oh, a certification or certificate? Same thing. That's what I've heard a lot of. So what are your thoughts on that?
And that's what you hear a lot. It's a word that's words that are interchanged, and really there is a explicit distinction between the two of them.
Right.
That's what we want to make sure that people understand. What is the difference between just getting a certificate and getting a certification? That's usually the biggest mix up that I see is people associate them as one, and they are two separate entities.
Right. And you bring up a good point because when folks decide that they want to earn their professional leadership certification from RBLP leadership certifications, they go, "Hey, okay, I want to do that, and then we're going to do exam prep training to prepare for and prepare you to sit for your oral certification exam. And when you finish the exam prep training, the authorized training partners will issue you a certificate, right? That's what you get, and you're going to need that certificate when you go to schedule your exam because you're going to need to upload that. So sometimes people go, oh, well, I got my certificate, so I'm good to go. In the early days, I can remember a lot of people saying to us, well, that training was great, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I got my certificate. Woo, boy, I feel like I'm really accomplished. You're not done yet, Tiger. so so unfortunately sometimes people get them mixed up, like you said. Um, have you worked with folks before who have twisted those or thought they're one and the same or they carry the same weight?
Yeah, and that example that you gave is perfect, right? You said you'll complete that training part of, and then you get your certificate. And said people will say, "Oh, here's my certificate." A certificate just says that you completed a course, and that's where a lot of the mix-up comes from, right? A course you can sign up for. There's usually no prerequisites for these certificates. It's usually just a specific topic.
Mm-hmm.
You go, you take it, you take the course, you take the class, you get your certificate, and that's it. You're not certified, right? It's just a certificate. The
Right.
certification is a completely different process, right? There's prerequisites that you have to meet. There's a governing certifying body. You have to demonstrate that you have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to take that certification. You don't just get to say, "Oh, I'm going to take this certification," and sign up, apply, and take it. No, there's certain standards and requirements that you have to meet in order to take a certification exam. That's one of the big differences between that certificate and certification. Certificate, no prerequisites. You can just kind of take it. You get a little sheet of paper saying, "Hey, you took the course," and that's really all that certificate is just saying, "Hey, you took this course." Where the certification is saying, "Hey, I demonstrated that I am well versed, experienced in this because one, I had to show I had the knowledge, the experience." I usually, as you said, there's a course that you have to take as well. That's part of that certification that helps prepare you for it, and then you take the exam and there's that governing body that says, yes, we believe that you possess the skills that now you can say that you are a certified, RBLP trainer, and you get that certification.
Right. Right. I've found some people that go through the course or people who've approached us and said, hey, I want to earn this certification. And I got a buddy of mine, he did this and got the exam prep training. And then you start talking to them because, to your point, the exam prep training will prepare you because they're going to talk about the factual, conceptual, and procedural knowledge. What does it mean to earn trust? Why is earning trust so important? And give me an example when you've had to earn trust in your place of work, right, in your career. Um, and some folks in the early days, they thought, well, hey, I just want to earn this certification. And then when you start talking to them, they they were brand new in the workforce. They've been in there about 6 to 10 months. They weren't in charge of any folks. They didn't have teams they led or what have you. Even frontline managers, they weren't there yet. They were still learning to work as a team. So we've had to clarify that over time, folks, that, you need to have been there and done it and gotten a t-shirt. I didn't say you need 50 t-shirts, but you need to understand what it means to be accountable and responsible for leading a team and getting them there. Have you run into that and talked to people?
Yes, and that's that. Usually you have to apply, right? And when you apply for that evaluation, do you have the experience, do you have the skills to meet this certification? And in this sense, with RBLP, we have those 3 different levels. So somebody may say, hey, yeah, I just want to come in and do that top level. And you look at their resume, you talk to them, and you say, well, you don't qualify for the top level. You don't even qualify for the mid level, right? You need to take the entry. Going from your background, the certification that is best suited for you is going to be the entry level one, right? That would be the RBLP. Your experience and knowledge align with the RBLP. As we talked about, that the big difference between that certification and certificate is there's that application process. It's almost like a vetting process of, do you really need to take this? Do you have that experience? Do you have the knowledge? And does that align with where you currently are? Does that align with that path forward to take that certification?
Right. And you bring up a really good point. So just shifting from that, moving forward, folks are qualified. They submit their application and they find out that they're either a frontline or a middle manager or a senior manager, or whatever the case may be, whatever bucket they fit into based on their career at this point. And those folks come and they sit for the oral certification exam. Now, obviously, they sit with our exam administrators. It's one-on-one. If it's RBLP, it's an hour and a half. If it's RBLP coach, it's 2.5 hours, and 3.5 hours for the RBLP trainer, right? So perhaps, maybe you could shed some light on that as far as going through the oral certification exam and earning that certification actually at that point. What have you experienced and feedback you've given folks?
Yeah. So the good thing about the 3 different levels that you just mentioned are it aligns to their experience. They get certified in that level that is appropriate for them, right? And that helps them, right? It can guide them along their career path to either one, continue on, gain that experience that's necessary to get that higher level certification, or you get that higher level of certification, and there's a lot of weight behind that, right? Hey, this is the RBLP trainer certification. This is the highest level certification that RBLP has, right? And since it is a certification process, right, they had to go through, the application, are they experienced enough to take the T exam? So all of those things right there show that, hey, if somebody passed this certification exam, 1, they're pretty smart. 2, they have the experience. 3, they actually have the ability to converse with somebody, to take a 3.5-hour oral exam and pass it. And oh, by the way, RBLP is the only nationally recognized leadership certification, and they also have ACE credit. So when you roll all those things in a ball, you're like, oh, this is legit. This is the real deal. So when somebody goes through that whole process, gets certified, it really stands out that, hey, that's something right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny you bring that up, and I appreciate that explanation for folks. In the early days, when we first started, 3-year in, every 3 years you have to recertify at the level you're at, or you can come back and if you earn the RBLP and now you're a middle manager, now you want to sit for the RBLP coach. Okay, so that can be done. But either way, the bottom line is that we certified people coming out of the gate when we started up new in 2020 and went live. And we came up on 3 years, and every 3 years you have to recertify. And we made it, Dr. Jeannie and I and the team, we all got together and talked and said, look, here's what we're going to do. We can have people recertify, that's fine, but we want to, meet with folks, 30 minutes each. And really what we did is we met with them and we asked them the question. We said, did having an RBLP or coach or trainer certification, did it get you a job? Did it get you a position? Or did it get you, an advancement in any way? And folks looked at us and they would say, yes, but not how you might think. And said, okay, tell us more. And they said, well, honestly, not a lot of people knew what RBLP was. I mean, this is what, 3 years in the game, out there, and not really sure. But what they did is when they started having conversations, they started asking me, well, tell me about this leadership certification. What went into that? What did you have to do? Talk to me about some of the experiences. And what it did, it broadened the interview where people could literally sit for that interview and they could start demonstrating, well, for example, the most critical thing I do is I start with creating a positive climate, developing cohesion, and provide purpose for my teams. That's how I operate, and that's how I work. We work together. My goal is to build and lead resilient teams in the workplace, because those are the ones who are getting the work done day in, day out. And they can have those kind of conversations through the exchange, the oral exam, and they show up better prepared, quite frankly. And I said, and I asked all the folks here, I said, so did you get that position or that assignment? And they said, yeah, actually I did. I mean, there was 4 other people in contention and I got it. So we're hearing a lot about that. Have you come across that in talking to folks?
Yes, definitely. And we hear more and more that, the 3.5 oral exam is almost like a really intense, in-depth interview prep course in itself. And what you do is, the RBLP framework is laid out very nice. And when you understand that framework, during that exam, we talk about, that applied knowledge, right? The applied understanding. So when you get into those type of interviews, and if you've been through the RBLP, you're already versed in how to describe that, right? You have examples, you have this knowledge, and really you have these terms and concepts that you can talk about, right? You've already talked through them through the oral exam, so you can talk through them in an interview. That's why a lot of people say this is like a great interview prep, and they've already practiced that application. So when it comes time for an interview, tell me about a time when, they've already done it, and now they have these specific terms and concepts that they can better relate to what they did, and it just sets them up for success and prepares them that much more for an interview.
Right. That's a really good point. All too often people go into interviews and they want to start, sort of waxing poetic and what have you. And when people see something on your resume, like, okay, you've got a Lean Six Sigma, that's great, and you've got a PMP, and that's great. What is this professional leadership certification you got? Who'd you get that from? Because an interviewer is going to look at that, whether it's HR doing initial screening or it's the hiring manager themselves, whomever. That's going to stick out for them because they may or may not. And that's a differentiator sometimes of what they're looking for. That, this person's so dedicated to the cause of leadership and how important and critical it is to the team, to the company, that they've gone that extra step to earn a professional leadership certification. So, it can be taken, holistically and extremely. This is a person who's serious about leadership. So I like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you read through the RBLP curriculum, we talk about, gaining a competitive advantage, right? That's part of that whole process of the RBLP, leading and building resilient teams, right? You want to have that competitive edge, that competitive advantage. And it's all, if you go get RBLP certified, you're giving yourself a competitive advantage, because most people do not have, the only nationally recognized leadership certification in the country. So automatically you're standing out just from getting that certification alone, right? And earlier you mentioned that when you talk to people, you follow up with them. Everybody has to recertify every 3 years. That's another difference between a certificate and a certification. A certificate, you take a course, that's it, you're done, right? A certification, there's usually that governing body that, hey, every so often you have to re-register. You have to prove, hey, I'm still working in this area. I have continuing education. There's those communities of practice around those concepts that you have to stay involved in. If you want to maintain that certification, you have to demonstrate that, hey, you're in the business, you're still learning, you're still growing, because they want you to be a contributor to that certification area. This way that, hey, you're not getting stagnant. That certification makes you keep learning and growing.
Right. Yeah. And and I've had conversations with people over the years, and and I've had all different types, and the one that really kind of took me back that I didn't give initial critical thought to, but it popped into my head when I was connecting with a person on LinkedIn, chatting with the person. And they said, "Hey, it's pretty interesting what you have there. I haven't seen or heard that before." We started chatting back and forth, and then we got online, scheduled a meeting. We just met together to talk. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, is that something you see like you being able to go out and accomplish?" And he says, "I would, but honestly, I've got 4 more months here at the company, and I'm going to have 30 years here with this company when I retire." And I said, "Well, that's great. Congratulations." And I said, "Well, curiosity, do you have any managers that report up to you?" He says, "Yeah, I got 5 of them." I said, "What do you think? Something like this would be good for them, or what are your thoughts?" He said, "No, that's what I was sitting over here thinking as we were talking." He said, "Matter of fact, I'd like to talk to you further about that and have some discretionary funds for professional development, things of that nature." So, we spent a little time together going through and talking about the curriculum and the competency domains and the leader task and things of that nature. And he was like, "This is spot on." And we've gotten that a couple of times from people who are the boss, and maybe they're through their journey and about ready to retire, but they want to pass that on to others. So that was always a good point. Hey,
Yeah,
Emilio,
and
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I did want to pop in for a second. The comments are kind of filtering in weirdly today because the internet, right? It's just that it's the technological highway of information. And this is our first time interneting for the first time ever. But I wanted to at least get a couple comments out there because I can't share them on the screen. So going old school with the old phone here.
All right.
Matt Fish
Mhm.
said one is a good job you finished the course, and the other requires continued education to maintain. I think Dr. Tony mentioned that as well at one point in time, which is a good one to have there. And then Jay Garcia says holding a leadership certification enhances credibility, boosts career advancement, fosters networking opportunities, improves skills, builds confidence, and adds value to organizations by identifying qualified leaders. So basically, you're proving what you know with the certification. You
Right.
prove what you know, you're already doing the work. The certification proves exactly what you've been doing the whole time. A certificate shows you how to do it. I mean, that's why I look at layman's terms, right? Where you're looking at a certificate. I learned how to do this. It says I took the course, and we're like, oh, good. We kind of check the block on that one. And I revert back to my old military days where all the online certificates we had to do, all the training we had to do, all
Right.
the certificates, the binders. I had to print that certificate off and turn it into somebody to make
Mhm.
sure that slide turned green
Right.
during the command and staff meetings, right? Whereas a certification proved proves I know this, proves
Right.
that I understand the concepts and everything behind it, and then it's going to expire in X amount of time, and then I got to reprove exactly what I've done before, right? It's not a one time thing and done, and it's a continuous thing, just like Matt Fish and Jay Garcia both said in their comments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think it's all for the comments so far. But I will share the screen one on our website. We do have an article about this as well.
Hmm.
Um, what's the difference between a let's see here? Oops, I think I shared the wrong one. Let me try again here.
You had it there on the
Yes,
right side.
talks amongst yourselves on that side of the house
The
there.
topic is certifications. Talk.
Yes, talks amongst yourselves. Don't mind me. It should have been this one right here. Again, interneting, and if Tony's out, the other Tony I spoke to yesterday, not the Tony we have here, he understands the plight I'm going through right now with the internet and understanding how to use the internet at this point in time. Inside joke for the audience there. But we have an article here, and I put the link in the comments there. But we have an article here. What's the difference between a certificate and a certification?
Yes.
So you can always reference that as well. So
Yep,
I
yeah,
didn't mean to
and
interrupt. I just wanted to jump in and at least share those comments with you guys.
Yeah. No, I
we
appreciate that.
greatly appreciate it. Yeah, and that's just said. If some people get that, understand it from us talking about it. Some people
Mhm.
actually need to see that and read it for it
Yeah.
to sink in. So it's good to have both channels there, so people can interpret it in the best manner that suits them.
Exactly. And I think it's really a good understanding the difference is a great thing, because a lot of people will put, I earned a certification in this, and there's no certification behind it, or I earned a certificate when it's actually a certification. And I wish the words weren't so close together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That,
it
that,
would
that,
be nice if
that,
they were a little different.
yeah.
Yes, I guess credentialing, it would be a little easier to say. But
Yeah,
but yeah, that's all I
yeah.
have. Sorry.
No, and as I said, we appreciate it, because as I said, there is a distinction, and it's good to know the difference, right? If you're talking with people who are in that one of those areas, you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, right? You don't want to say, "Oh, I have a certification," when you only have a certificate, or vice versa. I have a certificate when you actually have a certification, right? You want to know the difference, and you want to be able to relay that you know that difference, and say, "Hey, I have a certification," which a little more rigorous. We talked about all the aspects that differentiate it, of why there's more weight to it, because there's more of a process, application, requirements, standards, and when you meet all them and pass that certification exam, so it has a little bit more weight, because there's a lot more behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And some folks have said to me, hey, yeah, I got certified. And I've come across quite a few people on a daily basis who, their certification is due to be renewed. And so one of the things, if Emilio, if you could go to that page and pull that up um, for the get recertified, if you could go to that section for us and pull that up. Just wanted to point it out to people. Go down to the far right. There you go. Pick any one of them. That doesn't really matter. You can pick any one to bring up. And then, so when you go to this page, you go to recertify, because some folks who may be catching this, they're coming up on recertification. If you could scroll down for us, I'd appreciate that, Emilio. So obviously this is your basic information you put in there, and then we get the recertification requirements, right? So if you scroll up to where it says recertification requirements, these are some things that we're going to be looking for you on the honor program, basically for you to say, yeah, I understand what it takes to be recertified. It's not just check a block. It's not just do it. These are things that you need to have goals for in a professional development manner. So about, RBLP competency domains, community insights that we share, going through those, professional reading. So looking for, a couple of books, and we have books on the RBLP site that folks can go and check out some of the books they want to do. And then of course, LinkedIn Learning. There's paths there on our website to take you to LinkedIn Learning. So over the course of the next 3 years, until it's time for you to recertify again, those are the things we're asking folks with, being upfront and saying, yeah, these are the things I'm going to do. Now, is everything perfect in the world? And we have, challenges with family and issues. It always happens. But what's important is you're aware of these and you start investing in yourself to continue to grow and learn in leadership. Because, the goofiest thing I ever heard a senior leader say to me is, boy, I've been doing this for years. If it's done, I probably created it. Okay, let me help you, Ace. People change every day. Industry changes. Regulations change. You've got to stay current. You got to stay up to speed. You can't just be stuck in 1989 and going, I know everything here, because it's changed 4 times and you're behind the curve. So recertification for those who are in that area where they're due can certainly come to the RBLP website and submit that and go through that process, and then you would get you recertified. And the turnaround's pretty quick, so you don't have to sit and wait on weeks at a time. So you'll be contacted. Just want to put that out there for some folks maybe listening who are coming up on recertification. That happens every 3 years.
Perfect. There's other questions and things. We do have Kingsley Scott in the group. He does say hello from San Antonio,
Hey,
which
Kingsley.
we all love a good Kingsley post every once in a while there.
Absolutely.
And if he's listening, send me a message so we can hook up and get something on the calendar on that side of the house. But I think that's a good stopping point unless somebody has anything else to add to do. I will critique this one episode right now with you two. The introduction was done. No one made a comment about my shopping experience at Sam's Club. I took you guys to Sam's Club with me on the day to go shopping, and I'd share that moment with you guys. And
And for
nothing.
that, I appreciate. I didn't want to bring it up in fear of bringing your family into the picture and keeping this at the home fed.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. It was like $1,000 day at Sam's for no reason. Once again, for no reason, went there for three things, walked out. I always try to get convinced. My daughter always tries to convince me to buy a playground every time I'm there. And then a statue of a dog. I'm not really sure what I do with the statue of the dog, but every time it's like, we need this. And I had to send a text to my wife saying, and she's like, stop. And I'm like, so it's an ongoing thing. But I wanted to share that, I do a little shopping on the side, and you guys didn't mention anything about it. It was only 10 seconds. The cart was still empty. It was the very beginning of the trip.
Well, I appreciate the new ramp up timing out action you had in play. So thank you for that, sir.
Thank you. That actually took, and the secret between all three of us here, that wasn't 10 seconds. It was probably about 12 seconds. And so.
Got it. So
you
want extra.
I want a little extra on that one.
I think most people can relate to those shopping experiences at, the Sam's, the Costco. I went,
yes.
I took my daughter like 3 weeks ago. It was just me and my youngest daughter. We went, and she saw some big stuffed animal pillow. She's like, "Oh, Dad, can I get this?" And she's like, "I got 100 on my test." I was like, "That's fine." And we get home, and my wife's like, "Why did you buy that for?" I was like, she's like, "Last time when we were there 2 weeks ago, she asked for it, and I told her no, and now you just bought it for her." Yeah.
Get you every time.
You didn't tell me everything you said no to the last time you were there with her, so I have no way of knowing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, one last thing before I jump into the, hey, you can check us out on this, is we did have a Super Bowl win this weekend in your hometown of Philadelphia. So I think you're the only one here at RBLP who was a Eagles fan. Congratulations. I didn't have a dog in the hunt, so there's that.
Well, thank you. I know Mark's just a little further south, so
I trust me. All of my coins were in one bucket called Philly Go Crush 'em. I'm tired of this.
Yeah, it was good to see. It was good to see.
So it was good to see. Good to see it overall. Fun overall. Watched it with the family, so it was a good time. But if you guys want to see this, you guys can watch this on our YouTube channel. If you're scrolling to YouTube, hit the playlist and let them all play through. You can get all the knowledge you want through there. If you are bored in a car ride, you can listen to us and watch us on Spotify as well. All these episodes from getting the work done and getting certified, and some other little 2-minute, 3-minute little segments are uploaded to Spotify. So if you're on a long road trip traveling or on an airplane ride, hit that download button. I would appreciate
wandering the aisles of Sam's Club.
Well, that's what I was listening to the entire time. I was listening to you guys talk about recertifications last time, a GI Bill. That's what I was doing. That's why I almost bought a playground. But I would appreciate anybody watching, anybody who's in the community of practice, to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when new episodes are uploaded, and throw a comment on there every once in a while. That'd be kind of nice too. And we'll have the team will respond back on that side of the house. And if not, we will see you guys next Tuesday at the same time. And then we'll catch us again on Thursday for getting the work done.
Yes.
We'll see you guys later.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good one.
RBLP. Learn more, lead better.
Catch us next week. See ya.